One passion that I've not really been able to adequately explore throughout the years is my passion for silverware. Silverware is a very interesting thing. I love silverware. You know how strongly I feel about silverware. I've made 2 videos expressing how important I think it is for everyone to have a set of Gorham Melon Bud stainless steel silverware. And today, starting today, we are going to be making a number of additional videos talking about silverware. More specifically, I want to start doing some silverware reviews for the various different sets of silverware that I have, and possibly taking some suggestions from you guys. If you want me to review a particular silverware set, feel free to leave its name in the comments down below, and I'll see if I can pick up a piece of it off of eBay or something. But starting today, yeah, that's something we're going to be doing now. I apologize to those of you who are going to be frustrated at the delay of the regular content you're used to seeing here on the YouTube channel. Maybe I will upload some of that content in addition to the silverware reviews, but for the foreseeable future, I'm going to be doing a number of silverware reviews. Starting off today, though, I want to begin by explaining some terminology and showing you guys how you can find durable silverware, because there's actually some information on each piece of silverware that you have in your home, probably, that is going to tell you some interesting stuff about it, which is what we're going to be discussing today. So if you're interested, maybe go see if you can find your own sets of silverware and tell me if you can see some of the things I'm going to be pointing out in this video. Now, more specifically, every piece of silverware, I think every piece of silverware created from the 1990s maybe, or the early 2000s. At some point around the turn of the century, silverware manufacturers, the big guys, Gorham, Lenox, and whatnot, they started providing some information on the very back of silverware that you can see that indent there. I don't think the camera's going to focus well enough that you can actually read it, but you can see an indent there of some information that's provided by this silverware manufacturer. All of the big guys started doing this. If you have some spoons or something from IKEA, you're probably not going to have the same sort of information provided to you. And similarly, there are other silverware manufacturers that started putting some of the information, at least the branding, on the back of the, you can probably see a little bit there. There's an indent that has like the manufacturer's name and where this particular piece of stainless steel was created. There's, generally speaking, somewhere on the back of your silverware sets, there's going to be some information like that. And most of the information doesn't, most people don't pay attention to this kind of stuff. If you go and find a piece that says this, generally speaking, there's going to be a number of things that you're going to see. Firstly, you're going to see a copyright symbol, possibly 2. You're going to see a copyright symbol. You're going to see the name of the manufacturer. In this case, it's a Lenox spoon. You're going to see where the piece was created. Right here, it's Korea. And then you're going to see an interesting fraction, it looks like. Generally speaking, it's going to be either 18 by 10, 18 by 8, or 18 by 0. And most people, when they see numbers on something that they've bought, they just kind of assume that those numbers are something related to the manufacturing. They'll think like, oh, this is this is something for the manufacturer to identify what this particular product is, or some sort of identification number. But that's not the case for silverware. This fraction is kind of interesting in that it's going to tell you what this piece is made of. More specifically, we call it silverware. Some people call it flatware. Some people call it cutlery, but that generally is just referring to knives. But it's not actually made of silver, obviously. Most silverware is made of stainless steel, mainly, I believe. I believe a majority of it is made of stainless steel, but there are some other metals that are used in the forging of a piece. So this number is telling you how much chromium and how much nickel is being used in a piece. And these are 2 metals that are added to the forging process to encourage durability and resistance, and to try and keep the piece, alive and well for as long as possible. And almost every piece that you see is going to have 18% chromium. That's what the 18 is that you're seeing here. If you find a piece that says something other than 18 by whatever, let me know. That's kind of interesting. I've never seen a piece that has, anything other than 18% chromium. But the other number is telling you how much nickel is in that piece. And the nickel is pretty important. The nickel is going to tell you you how long it's going to retain itself, how resistant it's going to be, how long you're going to have a nice shine, how long it's going to be a clean and shiny, beautiful looking piece. If you have 0 there, that means there is no nickel in your piece, and it's probably gonna, it's gonna dirty up and get smudged and get some nicks and bumps here and there, and it's probably not gonna last quite as long as if you have 10% nickel. So, for instance, the best silverware set that there is, Gorham, naturally, it's an 18 by 10. There is 10% nickel in this Gorham Melon Bud spoon. And you can tell, again, I'm not too sure how well the camera's going to focus here, but you can see the reflection. You can see how few nicks and bumps and edges and whatnot there are. This is a very clean piece, even though that I've had it for, this piece I've only had for about a couple of years. But, that's a couple of years of going through the dishwasher and being used to eat various foods and various, maybe dropping it on the floor or whatever. Occasionally, it's going to take some nicks and bumps, but because it has 10% nickel here, it is still a beautiful piece. Whereas something like this spoon, this fork rather, this is just an IKEA fork, not anything fancy, just a cheap, you get a $10 set from IKEA or something. This has no nickel in it. And you might not be able to tell how dirty and smudgy it is. Similarly, this might actually be a better example. This spoon here, if you compare it to the Gorham spoon, this is a lot less reflective. You can see there's some nicks. I'm not too sure if the camera's going to pick that up, but there's some nicks. It is not entirely pure. There's actually, it's a pretty sharp edge. I wonder if I could cut myself on this. This spoon is not, I assume this spoon actually has 0% nickel in it. And then the other thing is 8%. Generally speaking, the other option you might see, this Lennox spoon, for instance, has 8% nickel. And the 8% is kind of interesting. There are some manufacturers that might have something like 8.3%, slightly above 8%, and they're allowed to round it up to 10%. I don't know why. Most standards or, most standards in countries, they just allow them to round it up to 10%, which that kind of seems like false advertising, but whatever, I guess. That's just the world that we live in. But 8%, that's still pretty good. Not quite as good as 10%, but 8% is still pretty solid, and it gives you some information that you're going to have some durability over the years, and that generally speaking, it's going to last you a long time. This is something that's pretty important when getting silverware. If you go and you get an 18 by 0, that's something that might need to be replaced, whereas silverware is something that you should buy for life. When you buy an 18 by 10 Gorham set, you know that you're going to have this as long as you want. You could throw it away. I don't know why you would, but this is something that's going to last you your entire life. Whereas if you go and skimp out, get a $10 set at IKEA or something that has absolutely no nickel in it, then you're going to be in a little bit of trouble. You're probably going to have to buy another set or two maybe if you continue getting no nickel. And anyway, that's something that I find very interesting. I hope you guys found it interesting as well. Go get your own sets. Let me know what they are. I'll review some sets that you guys have if you'd like, but I'll see you all in the next review. Until then, thank you very much for watching. Good luck in solo queue, and have a wonderful day.